These right here are Slin Pills, one of the most miraculous fat loss, muscle building, and longevity supplements ever created. And in this video, I'm going to explain how I use them, how my clients use them, some of the miraculous results we've gotten with them, some of the potential side effects, and more of the benefits, and how it works through its mechanism of action. I've also got here the enhanced muscle matrix that we're going to go through to show which pathway the Slin Pills work through. And I'm drinking my green tea because green tea stacks really well with Slin Pills. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when doing a fat loss or a muscle building or a longevity protocol is they're only giving attention to one pathway. They're only taking one supplement on one pathway, and they're missing all the other pathways. They're missing so many opportunities to get faster to their goal. Within Slin Pills, it's working through multiple different pathways on the insulin receptor itself and the insulin pathway in the body. And as part of the bigger picture, if you want rapid fat loss, rapid muscle building, then you stack Slin Pills with other things that accomplish that goal through different pathways, different mechanisms of action. And that's how we achieved the most rapid transformations in human history using healthy chemistry. And Slin Pills was actually part of a lot of these transformations. So Slin Pills, what's the dosage, how to take it? On their label, it says take 3 capsules. Yeah, that's generally a good average dosage for some person to take 3 capsules once per day. That's going to help keep blood sugar lower. That's going to prevent fat gain. That's going to increase muscle mass. It's going to be noticeably effective. And it's very different for cutting versus bulking, putting on muscle versus losing fat, and how it was benefiting. So we'll go through each one of those. But either way, by default, 3 capsules is good. Now we'll go higher in the dosage. What's the risk? We take 4, 5, 6 capsules, or we take 3 capsules 3 times per day, 9 pills. Now it will work better. There is a curve, and that curve eventually it will plateau, and more dosage is not going to cause more benefits. But what happens as the dosage goes up also is that the blood sugar will go down to the point where you could go hypoglycemic, similar to using insulin. When someone injects insulin, whether they're a diabetic or they're a bodybuilder, they have the risk of their blood sugar going too low because the insulin is pushing all of the sugar in the blood into the muscles and into the fat. Now, regular insulin the body produces, if you're insulin sensitive and you're very healthy, is going to push most of the nutrients that you eat into your muscle cells. But if you're unhealthy, or if you have damaged insulin sensitivity, then it's going to push more of the calories that you eat into your fat cells, which means it's also not going into muscle cells. Like, this is the worst thing. When you eat food and it goes into your fat, it's triple bad. Number one, the process is unhealthy in general. And number 2, you're gaining fat. And number 3, you're not gaining muscle. That's why Slin Pills works really well for cheat meals, or people who are overeating, or people who have damaged insulin sensitivity, because now the calories that they eat are going to go into muscle, which means it's not going to go into fat. So they're effectively preventing fat gain at the same time that they're causing muscle growth, which is one of the big differences between Slin Pills and a lot of the other similar products on the market. Most of the products are made to be glucose disposal agents, which means getting rid of the glucose in your body. Now, that's fine. If we wanted to do that, we would just take metformin, which is a prescription medication for diabetics. It works great, but it decreases exercise performance and it decreases muscle gain for most healthy individuals. So we use that for longevity and health, but we don't want to use that for actual muscle building. So for muscle building, we use Slin Pills because that's going to put more of the carbs actually into the muscle and prevent the fat gain when we're overeating. Now, Slin Pills, I said, works to build muscle, burn fat, and for longevity. So let's just talk really quick about each one. So building muscle, it does this by pushing more glycogen into the glucose into the muscle to be stored as glycogen. And with it, also other nutrients come, including more protein and more vitamins, minerals, and nutrition get pulled into the muscle because the muscles then also respond to this temporarily like it's insulin. So they open up and let the nutrients into the muscle. And then also, because your body didn't have to use more of its own naturally produced insulin, in which you lose insulin sensitivity the more your body's using and producing insulin. You didn't produce the insulin, and yet you opened up your muscles. And so now your muscles become even more sensitive to your own natural insulin. So even when we stop taking the Slin Pills continue to build muscle. Now, this is very different from most fat loss supplements, because a lot of fat loss supplements, you take them, and then when you stop, you gain the fat back. Now, this is the opposite, because we're actually fixing the insulin pathway. We're actually preventing fat gain, not just now, but in the future. And then it's building muscle, because the calories have to go somewhere. I want to change the way you guys think about muscle building, fat loss, and think about just every calorie that you eat is going somewhere. Is it going into your muscle, or is it going into fat, or is it getting burned off as body heat, which that's a much smaller amount of the calories. So just focus on when you're eating a calorie, is it going into muscle or is it going into fat? Now, you could calculate your diet meticulously and eat calorie by calorie and gram by gram of protein and what food, and you will have an amazing physique if you do that. But it is a lot of work. It's very inconvenient. And I find it much easier to not have to count my calories, just have a general idea of how, like, getting enough protein, not overeating carbs, and avoiding unhealthy oils. If you just do that and take Slin Pills, it's just as effective as being absolutely obsessed over our diet. And when we're trying to build muscle, we're going into a caloric surplus. So you have a maintenance amount of calories that you need for your body to function on a daily basis. But if you want to grow, then you need more calories to build your body and to grow. And so you eat in a caloric surplus. But when you're in a caloric surplus, you also have the risk that you're going to store some as fat. What the Slin Pills allows us to do is go up in the calories and have those extra calories go into muscle and not into fat. Temporarily, again, while we're on the supplement, and for the long term, because we increased insulin sensitivity. Now, you have fat cells that have insulin receptors, and you have muscle cells that have insulin receptors, and many other things in the body as well. But we're just talking about nutrient partitioning, building muscle, losing fat right now. So you have insulin receptors in muscle and fat. Now, when you lose insulin sensitivity because you ate too many carbs before, and because you have inflammation or some health issue, or you didn't exercise enough, or you're out of shape, then your muscle insulin sensitivity decreases, but your fat cell insulin sensitivity stays the same. So it's like a ratio between your fat cell and your muscle cell insulin sensitivity. What the Slin Pills does is increase the insulin sensitivity in the muscle cell. So now every calorie that we eat is more likely to go into muscle and less likely to go into fat. You know, I was separating this, trying to talk about building muscle and the benefits of to Slin Pills to that, and then losing fat and the benefits of Slin Pills to that. But as you can see, they're so interrelated because, again, it's all nutrient partitioning. For every calorie you eat, it's either going into muscle or fat. It's kind of hard to separate it. So I'd say, what is the difference? If someone really wants to lose fat, they're taking Slin Pills. I would say that we're going to focus on getting our blood sugar pretty low, like 80. Most people's blood sugar is probably around 100, and healthy normal people maybe around 90. We want to get to about 80. So we use the Slin Pills if we're dieting to get our blood sugar really low, and at the same time we stack it with other things that help access more of our body fat for fuel. But then we train our body to burn body fat as fuel. And you do that when you're in a lower blood sugar state. And then your body has to use fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates for fuel. Now, most people do this by doing the ketogenic diet, the carnivore diet, and that's fine, that works, but that's a little bit longer. It's a more painful process for your body to adapt. I prefer to get there really quickly with Slin Pills. It's like getting your body into a fasted state as far as fat burning and your weight loss very quickly. And also the Slin Pills will help retain the glycogen in the muscle and in the liver instead of letting it out. If your liver has more glycogen, your body thinks that you're more fed, and your body as a result will not slow its metabolism enough. Our bodies are amazingly evolved and designed to adjust the amount of calories that we burn based upon the amount of calories that we're eating. And A key to rapid fat loss, because remember, I talk about rapid fat loss, slow, gradual fat loss. Just eat oatmeal every morning and some eggs and starve yourself over a period of time and whatever. It doesn't matter. It's easy to lose fat over a long period of time. I'm talking about we want to lose fat fast, then we have to approach it scientifically, and it's kind of innovative ways because most people never learned about rapid fat loss. So if we want the rapid fat loss, we want to get the body into ketosis faster. We want to get our blood sugar down faster. We want to get retain the glycogen that we have in the liver so that our body thinks that we're more fed than we are, and our body will then, as a result, break down more fat for fuel while it's keeping its metabolism faster. So I know that gets a little bit complicated, but that's some of the mechanisms by which the Slin Pills work. Let's go on to just longevity and health, which would be a smaller section. One of the biggest problems with people's health and where that they spent the smallest amount of energy, they'd have the greatest results, would be just lowering their blood sugar. It's that simple. They could do it by going on a ketogenic diet. They could do it by fasting. You could just decrease overall carbohydrates, increase protein, increase fiber instead. Or we can take Slin Pills, pretty much keep our diet the same, and our blood sugar will drop significantly. That blood sugar, that excess blood sugar, our blood sugar is rising, 100, 110, 120. As that blood sugar gets up, okay, it's okay for a moment. Momentarily, big spikes in blood sugar, that's fine. The body takes time to assimilate that out of the bloodstream. But to keep elevated levels of that blood sugar is extremely toxic. It's so toxic, and it's circulating in our entire bloodstream, damaging everything in our body. And this is one of the biggest causes of aging and the biggest causes of diseases. So the very simple way to prevent most of the diseases that are plaguing Western society is just getting the blood sugar lower. And that's exactly what Slin Pills does. Get the blood sugar lower temporarily while you were taking it, and then also by increasing our insulin sensitivity so that more of our future calories are going to go into our muscle as well. So our body becomes lower maintenance, easier to lose fat, easier to gain muscle, and we're going to live a lot longer. Our skin's going to look better. Like Slin Pills isn't just about building muscle and losing fat. It's one of the most miraculous supplements to ever be created because it improves almost everything in life, even mental performance. A big contributing factor to people's cognitive decline, brain fog, and mental performance problems is insulin insensitivity in the brain, elevated blood glucose levels, blood pressure, all of these things that result from losing insulin sensitivity, and Slin Pills fixes insulin sensitivity. So I would take Slin Pills if I'm a human being, no matter what, unless my blood sugar drops too low. Like let's say someone's on a no carb diet, they're just really not eating enough, then all right, they don't need Slin Pills now. They probably will in the future because eventually you go through cycles of eating and overeating, or a cheat day, for example. Let's say we have a great diet all week, but then there's one day we're going to have a cheat day. We're going to go to a baseball game. We're going to eat a bunch of junk food. Well, on that day, it's especially important to take Slin Pills because Slin Pills blocks a lot of the fat gain from a cheat meal. Not all of it, but a lot of it makes a huge difference. And it does that through 7 different ingredients and different pathways. So without having to explain how each supplement works to do that, it's very apparent. Like you eat a cheat meal and you don't take Slin Pills, you're going to notice if you're lean, you notice like you can actually pinch extra fat here after, you put on 1,500 calories of fat after a cheat day, you can actually feel it. But if you take Slin Pills, you'll notice, the fat didn't go there. Where did the calories go? And you feel your muscles and you feel, oh, wow, I feel a little pumped. I feel full. I feel like my muscles are holding more calories, more glycogen, more protein in them. And that's what Slin Pills does. And it's very apparent. Like it's something you can feel. It's not a placebo effect because it's so strong. It's undeniable. And if also you want to test Slin Pills and how amazingly effective they are, you can use a blood glucose monitor. So first thing when you wake up in the morning, test your blood glucose with your finger. Maybe you'll find it's like 95. Then take Slin Pills that night. Take 3 Slin Pills before you go to bed. Wake up, you'll notice maybe your blood sugar is 85. And you could do that also to see about how the half-life and active life is in your body. But some of that decrease to down from 95 to 85, some of that is temporary because you took the pill and it's within a window of time. And some of that is permanent because if we take the Slin pills every day, our fasting blood glucose in the morning may go from 95 down to maybe not 85, but maybe 87, for example. And then after another month, it might go down to like 84. Now, of course, at some level, you don't want your blood sugar to go down lower. So it's not like the lower the better. It's just, until it gets down to 0. No, we probably want to stay around 80 blood sugar, but everybody's different. Depends on how you feel. Getting familiar with how your blood sugar feels is really helpful. Like I noticed I perform much better if my blood glucose is a little bit lower, like less than 90. And I went so many years with my blood glucose at 100 and my doctor saying that that's fine and normal. And I thought that was fine and normal. And it's not terrible. It's, not lethal, but it wasn't optimal. It wasn't healthy. I would, as a result, store more body fat and gain less muscle and until I fixed that. And also it was probably decreasing my lifespan and causing me to get ill more often. Now I keep my blood sugar much lower and now I perform much better. I function much better. And some people, they fast in the morning because their brain works so much better. Yeah, if that's you, if you notice like your brain works better in the morning before you eat, then consider when you eat taking Slin pills so that you get that nutrients uptake in the muscle faster. You don't have so much of a food coma. You get your blood sugar lower and also your brain, therefore blood sugar lower, and then you have better mental performance. I just can't see any reason not to take Slin pills. I think everybody who wants to be superhuman, wants to build more muscle, lose fat, have a lower maintenance physique, have better health and longevity and mental performance should be taking Slin pills as part of the foundation. I mean, if for every attribute that we want to enhance in the human experience, we can draw a graph like this that shows the different muscle building pathways, your fat loss pathways, longevity pathways. And here we have the androgen receptor and estrogen and HGH and insulin. Well, the insulin pathway, that's where Slin pills work. And the insulin pathway in bodybuilding is one of the most important pathways. It's how bodybuilders get extremely huge is by using insulin. And even natural bodybuilders, they don't have as much to rely on. They have to rely on their natural insulin and they have to optimize it and they have to make sure they hit their post-workout meal so they can get their insulin spike within their anabolic window, and they've got to make sure that they don't spill over because otherwise as a natural, it's going to be much harder to lose fat, and there's just so many considerations that naturals have to do. If I'm a natural bodybuilder, I don't want to take anything synthetic, I want to take only healthy things, then Slin pills is one of the most important, powerful things I could take. And if I'm an enhanced bodybuilder, I'm using insulin and growth hormone and IGF, then the biggest problem is that by using those compounds, insulin and HGH, we're decreasing our insulin sensitivity. So these big bodybuilders, they get a huge blow up of big muscle and then they start shrinking and they lose their fullness and they can't get a pump anymore. And their blood sugar goes up and their blood pressure goes up and their water retention goes up. And then we see what happens with one of the Mr. Olympia competitors who I think was not properly managing his insulin pathway. He had to bow out of the competition because he looked like a bloated water balloon. That's what happens to bodybuilders. They become these big bloated water balloons, unhealthy, like I said, blood sugar, blood pressure problems. And a lot of that can be fixed with Slin pills. Now, I've had a lot of pro bodybuilders that were very stubborn about Slin pills because they said they have some bigger problem. Like there's some bigger, deeper problem. It can't be this simple. They need medication. They need drugs. And they want to know what drug to take. Do I need to take more IGF? Do I need to take this drug? What do I inject? And I tell these biggest guys in the world, just please trust me. Just take Slin pills. I know you think that a supplement like this can't possibly be powerful enough for a pro level Olympia stage bodybuilder, but if you just take it for a week and watch what happens. And with one bodybuilder in particular, one of the most world-class biggest bodybuilders there is, we used Slin pills to fix his insulin sensitivity and put on 20 more pounds. He was stuck at 300. Now he was up to 320 pounds. And we backed off the insulin. Like we said, stop taking insulin. you're you're adding to the problem. Like, you need to regain your insulin sensitivity, not take more insulin. You keep taking more insulin, you're one step away from being diabetic. So we took Slin Pills. I don't remember the dosage. Maybe it was like 2 pills 3 times a day, like 6 pills. Big bodybuilder, right? Regular dosage on the label is 3 pills. So I'd take 6 pills. If I'm a big bodybuilder, that's probably what I recommended to him. I remember his blood sugar immediately came down. His water retention came down. His skin started looking better. This happened very quickly. But it was really about 1 month in after taking it that he said, like, wow, I'm totally fixed. I can grow like I'm in my prime, like I'm in my peak. I feel like you've completely eliminated the roadblocks. I feel healthier. I can sleep at night. My sleep apnea is better. Like, it fixed all of his problems. And how's that possible? How could Slin Pills fix all of his health problems, longevity problems, muscle building problems, and his career? Because everything was being ruined by his basically diabetes and increased blood sugar. And we just fixed that. So instead of fixing all the symptoms, take blood pressure medication. Oh, take a diuretic to get rid of the water. Take more insulin to get bigger. Like, we got rid of all that and we just went to Slin Pills. We just fixed the problem at the root. So obviously that's an extreme example, but imagine with him, it saved his life. He wouldn't be alive if he didn't take Slin Pills. Imagine for people that have less need for it, but then still take it on a daily basis as a preventative measure. So then we never run into all of these health problems in the first place. You know, people who get the diseases like the big C word, they could have prevented it, and all they needed to do usually was take things like take their antioxidants and get their blood sugar down. Like, those are the cause of a lot of the cancer. Oh, see, I shouldn't say that word. I'm not saying this is used to treat cancer. I'm just saying that one of the major causes of cancer is something that this fixes. So, indirectly. So I take it. I'm going to take it every day. It's my lifesaver. I took 2 pills already this morning, and I didn't even eat yet. So for me, my blood sugar is really low. And I feel good. I feel better with lower blood sugar. And then when I do go eat, I'm going to eat more because I know that those calories are going to go into my muscle and not into my fat. And that is the miracle of Slin Pills. That's why it says carbs into muscle, which is a bold statement. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, that's not possible. A supplement can't make carbs go into muscle. Well, yeah, carbs you eat and your body breaks them down through the digestive system into glucose. Glucose goes in the bloodstream, and then Slin Pills activate the receptor on the muscle to open up, let the glucose in. And so effectively, Slin Pills is putting carbs into the muscle. And if the carbs go into the muscle, they're not going into fat. So it's fat prevention, fat loss, muscle building, all in one. Don't know how else to describe it scientifically so that the masses, you know, most people can understand it. But if we want to have more technical talk about how it works, or you want to see more scientific information, like I've done about 100 experiments on Slin Pills, probably with blood glucose monitors and supervision of doctors, and blown their minds with what it can do. And so the research is ongoing, research is continuing, but this product now has been around for 10 years, stood the test of time. All the people who use it, they mostly keep reordering, but it's hard to get new people to try it because they just don't believe that it could possibly be that powerful. Once you try it, you'll know. It's something you can feel. Try it, eat more calories, feel the calories go into your muscle, feel stronger, feel fuller. Notice you gain less fat from your food, and your body and your life and your mind, your health and longevity, all of that changes. You become a healthier, better, more effective, high performance, successful person by using something as simple but miraculous as Slin Pills.